Gabby, why not just go yourself?
Drive 3 hours to collect some old equipment? I just need a no-questions-asked courier who doesn't mind a little casual trespass.
Got it. What about Gustav Hookfaber?
No sign of him. But that doesn't mean he won't be home any minute to find my proton pack left behind in that creepy-ass mansion of his. Probably hunt me down and sue me for all I don't have.
This seems sketch. Something's up with Gustav, Gabby. This sudden PKE spike ain't no coincidence. Just wait. I'm featuring on my next show.
Whatever, T. No one sane listens anyway. Just get my pack back. Thanks, T.
Hey everyone, I'm here today with my review of the just released VR game from InDreams, Ghostbusters: Rise of the Ghost Lord. I have high hopes for this game as its 2D predecessor made by Auphonic, Ghostbusters: Spirit Unleashed, pretty much sets the bar for ghostbusting games in the modern era. Now, this isn't the first Ghostbusters VR game, as there was the good but short-lived Ghostbusters Firehouse, which was actually a pretty good take on the genre, except that the episodes were really short. I'm talking go to the bathroom and you've missed it short. However, this is the first what I'd call full VR game based on the franchise. So let's get into it. So here we are in the game. You get launched into the tutorial. And this is how we start out in front of the nice mansion that we've been, let's say, commandeered to go and investigate, where we take out our PKE meter, learn how to use it, and get around the mansion, and you discover different hotspots around the house. So it's your typical, walk ahead, track down an object, walk to the next object, track down that object, and you constantly make your way through the house. Now, I don't know how many of you have mansions, but I'm pretty certain not many have gates on them. Not on the outside, on the inside. This one apparently has quite a few. Not to mention hidden bookcases and spots to explore. And once you get downstairs, you also realize, well, this guy that owns the mansion might be, Batman. Because he seems to have a bat cave in his basement. I don't know what that has to do with ghostbusting, but hey, it is what it is. Anyways, the graphics on this looks eerily familiar to Ghostbusters: Spirit Unleashed. It's real similar, but you can definitely tell where they cut a few corners in order to make it work in VR. And they do an excellent job with the visuals in terms of making it all work. And from that perspective, the game is really good. However, this is day one, and things tend to happen. And I understand we have bugs that may be, well, let's just call it game breaking. Unfortunately, it breaks again, and it causes me to at least start my game about 3 times, I think, before I got into the game. Really frustrating because there is no save point here. So every time the game broke, I had to start the tutorial all over again. Whole bunch of fun. So here we are back in the game, loaded it up yet again, and I finally made it past the tutorial. So this time we get a different load-in screen. You don't have to go through all of the preliminary stuff with Gabby and going through the speech that she tells every single time. We are launched out here outside the San Francisco Bridge, where we can now have a selection of what to do. Ghostbuster headquarters for quick play. You say San Francisco to host a game. That's how you host your multiplayer game. And then you can always just join the game. And last but not least, you can also do it offline. I selected quick play, and once you do that, you're then launched into the lobby, which now you're in a place, not the firehouse, but it's firehouse-esque, but it's a big brick building, looks more like a warehouse, has Ecto 1 in there, so hey. It's San Francisco, so it's the franchised version of the Ghostbusters, and that's essentially what you are playing here. So from here, you have the different tables on the right there. That's where you go to select your different missions. Up here, this is your workbench. If you remember the game After the Fall, how you used to put your equipment on the table to work on the different equipment, this is very much the same concept. So what you do, you can take out your proton blaster or the PKE meter or the ghost trap, and you place it on the pedestal there, either on the right one or on the left one. You place it there, and now you have a set of options that pops up. You can click on those options and it shows you all the different attachments that you can buy to put onto that piece of equipment. It all costs money, which you can see in the upper left-hand corner there, which is great. And you get the money, obviously, by, well, catching ghosts. So you do missions, catch ghosts, earn money to buy upgrades to bust more ghosts. And that's pretty much the game. They have different upgrade options available. In fact, some of them make it act almost like a shotgun in a way in the stream. And you activate that using your secondary fire, which you have on your controller as well. So we get to walk over here to the table, which is effectively the map of the city, and this is where you get to select your missions. There's a variety of missions that you can select from, and you can tell where you have something special to do with the red number 1 that's in the upper right-hand corner of that mission. In this case, it's the exorcism in the sewers. You just click on that, and now the mission is selected. And in order to activate the mission, you walk on over here to Ecto 1. You'll see a couple of chevrons that are on the ground. You just walk over to that, and that's essentially how you ready up. There's no button to press or anything else. Once you walk over it, you are readied up. And then each member of the team needs to walk over it in order to start the mission off. So after a long trial and tribulation of getting through the tutorial, getting here, we are finally in the game. Here I have my partner, Bay Willie. Doesn't speak much English, but that's okay. We know what we need to do. We're coming in here to bust ghosts and shoot ghosts. However, there's not much in the way of instructions outside of that. In this case, we have to pull out our PKE meters just to figure out what is it that we're doing. That's where the objectives are listed at, and it writes it on the PKE meter. In this case, we have to find specific objects, with the PKE meter and bring them back to set on those little poles there. Once they are set on those little poles, we can then activate everything and get the big boss going. Now, one of the things that's not said, that lovely apparition I just trapped in my trap. Believe it or not, that is how you get ammo for your secondary fire. Remember when we were in the firehouse, or somewhat firehouse earlier? We had our additional equipment that we can upgrade. Well, what they don't tell you is that it requires ammunition. And that ammunition is ectoplasm, which you get by trapping it with your trap. Unfortunately, the game does not make that very clear in the beginning. It takes a while to figure out. Otherwise, you're going to get a nice little message telling you you don't have enough ecto to activate it. Now, here's one of those lovely Easter eggs they decided to put into the game. That's a pack of marshmallows. And of course, anybody that is a fan of Ghostbusters know, anywhere you have marshmallows, you have Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Well, randomly walking by a pack of marshmallows, they tend to explode. And once again, the game does not make too clear that once Stay Puft is on you, this deactivates all of your equipment. The problem is there's a lot of them. Like, they're all over my hands and my pack they're also on my back where I can't see, but my partner there does. And so he's able to reach around. Yes, he reached around and grabbed Stay Puft off of my equipment on my back. So I don't know how you're supposed to take it off if you're all by yourself to get rid of these guys, but they are going to keep you from using your proton pack and your traps and all of this stuff. So try to avoid Stay Puft. So in each mission, in order to keep things fresh, they try to give you a series of puzzles to solve. Pretty simplistic puzzles so far. I mean, it's early on in the game, so I don't know if they get a lot more complicated or not. But quite frankly, they are very simple puzzles. In this case, we had to go around collecting canisters. Where were the canisters? Who knows? Doesn't matter. Team goes around collecting canisters, puts it in this middle super trap is what I want to call it, which is sitting in the middle of the courtyard there. And we trap ghosts into the big super trap. That's all we do. Some you shoot, some you capture. You learn which ones you can capture. Like those right there, you just shoot and you just blow up. But the big red and pink and green ones, you trap and you lure it down into the top of the trap. And that's the way that it works. Now, here's where I started to have some issues with the actual gameplay of the game. Right there, it's telling you, hey, in red, hey, there are these things that needs to be done, and the ones that are in green, it has already been done, but it doesn't tell you what it is or what do you have to do. You just have to look around the courtyard and mindlessly look for handles. Not extremely helpful. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to fighting these ghosts, if you have played Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed, you will be very much so disappointed as to how you capture the ghosts in this game. And unfortunately, I happen to be a believer that if you're going to be a Ghostbuster, capturing the ghosts should be a preeminent feature of the game. I hate relating this to other games, but it's undeniable in this sense. Spirits Unleashed had it figured out. It really felt like you were fighting the ghosts. It really felt like if you messed up your stream, that there were consequences to that. In this case, this is essentially point and shoot. It in theory is supposed to fight you, but you're really just pointing your stream at the ghost like a laser beam, and it's going to stay there. There's a significant amount of aim assist involved in this, and you wear down the blue, which is his armor, for lack of a better term, and that allows you to actually lasso him, which brings down his health. When you have lassoed him, you move the stream in the opposite direction to essentially just wear him out like a fish. And then when you actually wear him out, then you're able to trap him. I wish I could say it was anything more complicated than that, but no. First, you're just blasting him just to knock down his shields, essentially. Then you're lassoing him just to wear him out, and then you just put him into a trap. To say that this is easy would be an understatement. I mean, after about the third or fourth ghost, it got pretty mundane, truth be told, and there was nothing left for me to do. In fact, at a certain point, I just kind of sat there holding the proton pack in the general direction of the ghosts, and that was more than sufficient to knock down his shields and lasso him. There was no skill involved here, just pull the opposite direction. When you have pulled enough in the opposite direction, you will see an X appear, and that kind of gives you an extra blast to help stun the ghost so you can trap him. That's all there is. I wish I could say there was more than that. The other ghosts are just kind of variations on that. I'll play the game a little bit more later in hopes that it gets a little bit better, but quite frankly, it's pretty awful, the ghost trapping sequence. And for me, that's the biggest letdown in this game right there. They had a brilliant setup for the game. In fact, it gave me goosebumps at the very beginning. When walking into the haunted mansion, I didn't know where a ghost was going to pop out. I was actually kind of scared there for a moment. But then as time went on, you realize it's not that kind of game. And the developers seem like they really wanted to go the kiddie route on this one. Some people have told me about that, but I'm starting to believe that now. As one of our players so eloquently put,
we don't all need to be on the same ghost.
Yes, we do! It's what they done in the movie!
And there you go. That right there sums up the entire feel of this game. Us old heads that have grown up with Ghostbusters back in the day, we appreciate Ghostbusters and all their humor and the way that the characters were approaching how the series was handled. It was never handled on a child's level. It had some child elements, but it was mostly a teenage, grown-up kind of thing. This game is not that. This game is clearly targeted to the younger generation of folks, probably preteen, quite frankly. And I wish they would make that more clear in their advertisements. So, if you have children that like Ghostbusters, I'd say this is actually a pretty good game. It was very well executed. Even the music is really good. They have an opportunity to capitalize on the music here. They actually secured the rights to all of the songs and everything else, looks like. And they play it, but they don't use it to great effect. Yes, they play the music, but it does not feel like it's that chest pounding, get your heart racing type of music in the game or at the end of the game. So it seems like it wants to jump a much higher bar, but it just doesn't. And that's the opinion that I have about the game. But for the younger set, I think it's going to be great. But unfortunately, I think this is clearly a case of they have a new movie coming out, and this is the game to capitalize on that movie.
Heads up, he'll be back.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us. Appreciate you watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will talk to you again soon.
$31,000.
I got 31,000?
Hey, employee of the month. And I just
You got
started this job.